Hey everyone, this is Vinay. Thank you for joining in. Today we have a very unique guest. I think you're going to be impressed. This is a live theater company based out of Chicago, Illinois, and they have found a solution to how to perform live theater safely during a pandemic. The company is called Stop Motion Plant, and their idea was to take 6 retail shops all in a row on the same street, and they'll turn these storefronts into 6 stages and have 6 performances going on simultaneously in each one of these stores. So essentially, it's a walking tour of live theater. And you, as a passerby, coming home from dinner, out for your walk, you get to enjoy 6 live theater performances safely from the other side of the glass on the sidewalk. Brilliant, right? So I got a chance to speak with the entire cast and hear what were the origins of this idea and where they think it can go with it. So let's check it out. Jen, what is your role? Or do you consider yourself kind of the lead or the founder of Stop Motion?
Oh, I love this question because as an ensemble, no, there's no one director, there's no one person in charge. It's kind of really socialist in that way, in a really beautiful way. We're all an ensemble, we all devise together, we work together.
Okay, fantastic. So I just read really verbatim from your first big page how you describe yourself as a theater company, but why don't you translate that or put it in your own words?
Excellent. So when you think of a theater company, you might think of a brick and mortar location that's going to be doing plays, right? Like you might be doing Tennessee Williams, your Shakespeare, etc. We're quite different than that. We are a performance art company. So the types of theater we do are born out of personal experiences. So we're never playing characters. We're not dolling up in costumes. You're going to get more of a personal monologue or performance about something immediate, something that's affecting each performer at that moment of time. We're a really cool ensemble that all met studying this particular type of theater with a theater company called the Neo Futurists. So we all met taking a class with them. We stayed together as a group and started producing our own work, which has been really exciting.
Okay, so and you have a pretty large ensemble. How many people are part of the group right now?
Yeah, so we've worked with 8 artists. In our last production a couple years ago, we did a really cool show called Kill the Clocks that was centered around time, how we interpret time, how we play with time. For this upcoming production, we've got 7 ensemble members producing 6 different pieces. So we kind of fluctuate, but we're a tight, tiny little group.
Okay, and before 2020, what were you all doing? Were you all together in the same group or in different groups?
Yeah, so a lot of us have different performing outlets. Kevin on this call is a puppeteer. Kevin, if you want to say hi, you're welcome to. Come on in.
Hi, I'm Kevin. I'm a puppeteer.
Excellent.
Hey, Kevin.
Ale on this call is with the Neo Futurist currently. Ale, if you want to come say hi, come on in.
Heyo. Yeah, I'm Ale. Work with the Neo Futurists, a little bit of performing, and then some improv and stand up as well.
Okay, great.
We've got Nikki on the call too. Nikki, I know, does a lot of comedy. She's got a really cool blog right now. Nikki, what's going on?
Hi, I'm Nikki. I do also do improv, and I also write fiction. I actually pulled the blog because I'm going to turn it into a novel, so stay tuned on that.
Nice.
Love it. We've got Perry on the call. Perry, I feel like you do kind of everything in the coolest way. What are you up to?
Yeah, I have been directing and writing sketch for comedy. I'm also an educator, so I teach theater to students too all over Chicago area.
Okay, great. Nice to meet you,
Um,
Perry.
Thanks so much, Perry. We got Kristen on the call. Kristen's so incredible and was actually connecting us with another theater company, Theater Evolve, for a while. How you doing, Kristen?
Yeah, I'm really just kind of happy to be here. Good to see
Hello.
everyone.
I love it. But yeah, we all do a little bit of everything, but we have been working together for a couple of years. And I mentioned Kristen was working with a company called Theater Evolve. We went into 2020 trying to produce a show that company commissioned. And that show was going to be an in-person show, and it was about processing, how we process information, how we input and output information. This very kind of unique show that got put on hold with the pandemic and with the lockdown. So we adjusted. We were trying to come up with a production that does reflect these times we're living in. But our challenge this whole time is how can we do a live performance safely for a community in person? And what we came up with was window plays.
Yeah. So you're going to have to describe for anyone who has not been to your websites yet, what is a window play? Walk us through that.
Yeah. So window plays is a little bit what it sounds like. These are going to be live performances behind windows, behind storefront windows. The audience stays outside. They stay safely social distance on the sidewalk. It's kind of like a walking tour through one neighborhood in Chicago. So the audience walks, they pause in front of a storefront, and they see one solitary performer doing a 2 to 5 minute performance. They can reflect on that, then they can walk, watch another one, walk, watch another one, and see 6 different performances in this one evening over the course of an hour. So, a lot of us, we got to get outside, take our hour-long walk every day. So we're encouraging folks, if you're going to do it on these nights, February 19th, 20th, 21st, and come see some live theater.
That is such a fantastic idea. First of all, have you done this already? Have you done one of these already? Or this is going to be the dates that you just mentioned coming up? Is this going to be your first performance?
This is the premiere. So This is a bit of an experiment. And we are an experimental company. We try new things. We try new forms. So we were wondering if the storefronts were even going to be interested, and they jumped on it. They're so excited. We actually had too many stores for the number of performers we have be interested. So if this goes well, we've had some stores say, hey, can we do this every month? So it could be an ongoing thing. It could be something we could bring to other neighborhoods outside of just this first one in Chicago. And we're really excited about that.
Yeah. So what is the neighborhood that you're doing it in, and what are the stores that are participating in this?
Yeah, so the neighborhood for window plays this February is called Andersonville. It's a really cool, traditionally Swedish neighborhood in Chicago. So you've got this interesting old Swedish architecture mixed with, contemporary places as well. And there's kind of a hub along a street in Chicago called Clark Street. And so we got this strip of businesses along Clark Street and some of its main intersections to host our solitary performers. So at the moment, we have 6 different places. We have first the Neo-Futurist Theater, where we all met. They have a lobby space. They're going to let us use one of their windows for a performance, which is amazing. There's a store called Raygun. They sell really cool t-shirts, Raygun tees. Rattleback Records, the folks over there are so cool, so supportive. We're really excited to be using their big front window. One of the first businesses who was excited about this is a bookstore in Chicago called Women and Children First. They're a feminist bookstore, and they have wonderful, wonderful people working there. Let's see. And then we have 2 stores that are almost next to each other. They're sandwiched on either side of a froyo shop, but there's a store called Enjoy, an urban general store. Really cute place to buy gifts, fun things for folks in your life. And then there's a store called Play, which has books and games marketed mostly towards young people. So we've got those 6 different places, and we're pretty jazzed about it.
I imagine they would be too. Now, are these stores, it sounds like most of them are retail, so are they open for business?
Yes. So all of those 6 places are open except the theater. The Neo-Futurists they've moved, or the Neo-Futurists have changed their weekly show to be digital this whole time. So You should definitely chat with them, because they've done a really cool thing going virtual this pandemic. If you'd like another guest on the podcast, definitely promote them.
Oh, absolutely.
The retail stores are open. Some of them are only open for curbside pickup. I know that the bookstore is doing that for safety reasons and regulations. What's cool about the hours of window plays is we're performing in that first hour after they close. So all of these stores close at 7 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, and so that's when our show is. So the performers are safe inside because the store will be closed at that time. Sunday it's at 6 o'clock because that's when these stores close. They're all kind of on the same schedule, which is very convenient for our production.
Right. So how is the city of Chicago, are they supporting you in any way?
Yeah, so the city itself hasn't, we're not in contact with them directly, but there is a Chamber of Commerce in the Andersonville community who we chatted to, and they're really excited. They want to promote us. They want us to become members of the chamber. And so we're getting a lot of local support, which is exciting.
Yeah, fantastic. So normally, are people out on the street at this time of night and they're just strolling about or coming home from shopping? What's going on?
Yeah, that's a great question. In this particular neighborhood, it's very walkable, and you do have a large number of folks strolling around. I've noticed a little uptick recently as well, as indoor dining just reopened in Chicago, and there are a lot of restaurants in the neighborhood. So we do expect and kind of hope for the random passerbys, in addition to folks who reserve a free ticket ahead of time. And we're excited to engage the community in that way. Like, how fun if you were walking home and then you saw a performance in a window. We're kind of excited for that little magic moment too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It would be fantastic. Now, where I live in Southern California, I live in the burbs, so there's not really a walking neighborhood like that. But I've been to Chicago. I know what it's like. I know every neighborhood has its own character, has its own thing. So that's great that you can find a way to keep the arts alive in some way, and not only that, but remind people, hey, there's life outside of the TV screen. There are so many minute details, even the smell of the air or the temperature, or the crowd around you, and all this sort of ambient noise and things that contribute to that experience, right?
Absolutely.
So what are the kind of performances that people might see when they're walking by?
Yeah, this really will be a one of a kind experience. I don't think I've ever seen outdoor theater just on a street corner before. Like, you might see folks busking or musicians playing in different cities, but this is a little different because you will have that separation, that partition of glass. All six shows or six performances are quite different from each other. Some are quite intimate. There's at least one of these plays where, in order to hear the performer, you have to follow instructions and dial a phone number. So you're speaking to them intimately in a phone call while you're watching the performer. I love that you're a musician. There will be music and sounds in a lot of these performances via mounted Bluetooth speakers that will mount outdoors so that there can be external sound. So it could be a combination of music, voiceover, if we've recorded something ahead of time to go along with the piece, a monologue of a certain sort. We're really excited to work with the combination of ambient noise. You're on a street, you're in a bustling neighborhood, and this more intimate performance as well. We're bringing different forms of lighting. Kevin does something really cool in a lot of pieces I've seen Kevin work on with overhead projectors. Do you remember those projectors from school where the teacher would like write a lesson on it?
No, I was usually asleep during that time, but yeah.
Right on. Yeah, totally fair. But I've seen Kevin use overheads in a lot of different shows before, and I know Kevin's doing something really cool and special in this production as well. So you're gonna get a taste of a lot of different kinds of visual, sound, theater that you might not traditionally see.
Yeah, so maybe we should go around and ask everybody a little bit about that, because I noted one thing when you were introducing everyone. Everyone's a different type of performer, so I kind of want to hear everyone's background and kind of their contribution to it. So do you think we can do that? You want to start with Kevin, maybe?
Let's do it. Kevin, what
Yeah.
little snippets of your play can you share with us?
Oh, sure. So my play, the whole theme of the show kind of hinges on the theme of presence and just like being present, and kind of the contradiction of, isolation in that context. But my show is kind of about presence and advice I've had over the years, and and the struggle I've had discerning what has been bad advice given to people who I was told to, respect. So in my play, I put the viewer in the position to figure out what my advice is, and I give them advice from my life, good and bad, and I don't tell them which is which. Um, and we share contact through the glass, and I try and get as close as we possibly can, and kind of play off of that jarring nature of the kind of the PTSD we all have from like trying to be separated so long, and my play pushes us together.
Right. Okay, that sounds really interesting. So, are you guys planning to film this experience as from the audience point of view?
At least on one night of performances, I've got someone locked down who will be recording externally all the 6 different pieces from the windows, actually going on the walk, getting some good footage for us. And then we're also going to do our best to set everyone up with recording equipment behind the windows. So there will be an archival edited piece putting all the performances together available digitally. That's one of the perks we have for donating to our Indiegogo. I think it's the $50 level. Folks can donate. Maybe even starts at the $25 level. Truly, if people are interested, we will share this experience with them.
Okay, so let's repeat what you just said, because that's really unique kind of opportunity for someone to, in their own way, participate in this production from anywhere in the country, right? So if you go to the Indiegogo, you can sign up as a sponsor, and what will you get as a sponsor?
Yeah, so there are a couple of different perks, even starting at $10. The $10 donation can go a long way. If you're in the Chicago area, that gets you a ticket to the show. Tickets are also free. We think theater and art should be accessible, but these donations are going to help pay the staff of the storefronts who's hosting us, as well as expenses for props. And 20% of all donations we raise is going to Brave Space Alliance, a really great mutual aid fund here in Chicago. But starting at $25, if you donate on our Indiegogo, you can get a digital link to watch this archival recording of the show. So you'll see snippets of the 6 different performances from behind the windows and from walking around. So this is anywhere in the world. You'll be able to kind of get a snippet of what this is, how we made this project, how we made live theater in a pandemic. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, and by the way, I would love to get a copy of that when you have that produced, and I'll put it up on our channels as well.
You got it, Vinay. Yeah,
it's such a unique idea. I'm excited to see this because so this is what's going on in California. I don't know what's happening in Chicago area, but musicians are trying and venues are trying to make this come back together somehow. And there's all kinds of weird hybrid situations where you'll have a venue that's open. They're able to have guests outside on the patio and serve them. And then somehow they have the band inside on the stage and they blare music out onto the patio. I'm like, okay, you're hearing a live band. You're not experiencing a live band. The same thing, you probably heard of the drive-in concerts.
Yeah, I went to one this summer. I went to a Jeff Tweedy show, and it was really cool, but it was also so surreal and weird.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, wow, where are we now, and where are we going to be going?
Yeah. I mean, I'm old enough. I'm dating myself. I'm old enough to remember drive-in movies. Maybe going to a drive-in concert is the same as like doing a tailgate party, but I will do it once I'm able to get out to do it. But there's nothing like just being 10 feet away from a guitar player and having your ears start to bleed in about a half hour.
Yeah, and you don't get that, when you like feel the bass in your chest.
Yeah,
you don't get that quite the same way at a drive-in concert. Yeah,
right. But as you're describing this, I can imagine that even the production of a video of this kind of experience could be really interesting too, especially if you're able to capture audience reactions to it, their kind of the looks on their faces and their response to this whole thing. That would be something I'd be very curious to see. How did people react? This is going to be something I think they've never seen before. I've never heard of anything like this, so I'm just excited for you guys.
Yeah, we're excited too. We also have never seen anything like this before.
Right. So where do you think this could go?
I mean, a big picture, it would be very cool if this gets picked up. We get good publicity. We could keep producing this show either locally, other places. There's a really fun perk, the like top tier perk on our Indiegogo. Um, we call it the picture window. It's a $500 donation. It's can you picture window plays in your town or your community? And basically, we would help produce that remotely with artists in your area. I mean, if it's nearby, we'll travel. We'll put us in any windows. We'll do it.
Why not? Yeah, you could do the same thing as any kind of touring act, right? I could totally see that.
Yeah, and that's inspiring to me. I worked as a touring actor for like 3 years, so I'm familiar with that life on the road. I love being in Chicago and having a community and not having to travel all the time. But if you've got a show that can move and do that, and you can bring it to places that don't have that access to theater, that's also very cool.
I think you guys are onto something big. I think you might want to think about how to trademark this whole idea, because let's just imagine people see what you're doing and think, well, yeah, I can do that in my town too. Well, good for them, and they should. But I don't know. This is just the entrepreneurial side of me thinking, if this blows up, how do you continue to be involved with it as it grows? Not so much about taking money from everybody, but kind of seeing your vision expand and not be diluted. That would be my thinking. But anyway, I'm not putting words in your mouth.
No, absolutely. And that's something on our forefront, but more than anything right now, it's just about making it happen. Like this first show is so important because it's the first time live theater of any kind will be done in the community, and for our ensemble over the past year. So yeah. We're excited about the present, as is one of the themes of our show, but we are really excited about the potential of the future and getting this kind of performance into other communities. That's really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's hear from one other person, and let's get sort of the synopsis of their performance and what it's going to be and what we can expect.
Cool. Hey, Ale, how are you feeling? Would you like to speak on the piece that you've developed so far?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can talk as it's currently developing. I can talk about the themes of it and like what we're trying to talk about in keeping with the idea of reflection and with separation and with the sort of recognize the reality of where we are with the separation that comes with the window plays. I'm working on a piece that's titled See, Hear, Speak, No, 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 Evil, Evil, Evil. And it was very much a title first play because I thought of that and I scratched that down onto a notebook and I was like, I'm going to come up with something for it. But we're in this performance, I'm going to be trying to engage with the audience on our idea of, is evil an actual thing that we can discuss? Is it something that we're going to stop discussing as we move on from 2020 into the new year? Or what are we willing to call out still? And how do we make sure that we don't stay comfortable? So that is going to be done with some found footage of like the last couple of years, but like extending past like the last 4 years because things have been going bad for a very long time here. So trying to capture that feeling and knowing that like unless things that we observe are also being talked about, nothing's really going to change.
I'm glad that you're touching on that because it's something that we have to continue to challenge.
Yeah, that's what I'm most excited for, getting to do something like that. We have been doing a show, We the Neo-Futurists, that has been a purely digital show. And when we were talking about like what is the difference between this and like the live experience of a concert, live experience of theater, the missing the engagement with a person right in front of you, the audience, changes how you write, how you create, because when you're just creating something that just goes online and you don't have any idea of how people are reacting to it, you create a little bit differently. But then there's the actual risk of the live performance and trying to create art and speak to a message that like you maybe aren't even sure of, like you don't have it fully wrapped up, but you want to at least engage with someone else about it and to question it and to engage with it with another person who you don't know, is what has always excited me about theater. And so like I'm excited about getting that chance again to like talk about something that's riskier. Andersonville being like a I would say a more privileged neighborhood, like up on the north side of Chicago. So like getting to talk about that with people like that excites me, but also makes me nervous. And then that reminds me about theater again.
Right. How much of this performance is going to be improvised versus choreographed?
All of the pieces have an open all of the pieces have at least one moment of audience interaction. So that's got to be flexible and honest and based on whatever happens with the audience in that moment. But all of the pieces are pre-written, pre-rehearsed. We know the beats of what's supposed to happen. But it's cool because the pieces are short, like 2 to 5 minutes, and then we start them over again.
All right. Wow, this is exciting. I'm not kidding. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this looks like. I have never heard of anything like it. And I think it's so inventive. I can't think of anything I would compare it to. So I really hope it's a huge success for you and that, you know, who knows, this blossoms into a new genre of a performance art we haven't heard of. I would love to see that.
I think we would love that too. That would be super cool.
Jen and company, thank you so much. This was really exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this turns out to be. And certainly you can count on my sponsorship, even though I won't be able to attend in person. So once again, give your Indiegogo page, your Facebook, and other sites that people can contact you.
You got it. So if you would like to check out the project, you can find our Indiegogo at tinyurl.com/windowplaysdonate. And if you want a ticket, it's tinyurl.com/windowplays. So you've got a couple of quick links there to get to our ticket page, to get to the Indiegogo. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/stopmotionplant. That's the name of our ensemble. We're on Instagram as well, instagram.com/stopmotionplant.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining. I hope you have a great evening, and I am going to check back with you in a couple of weeks after the performance. Maybe we do another call and we talk about what did we all learn? What did we experience? That would be exciting.
That would be really cool. Yeah, I think we'd enjoy that.
Okay, perfect. We'll look forward to it. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Window Plays is like one of those flowers that grows in the cracks of cement in an abandoned parking lot. It recognizes the reality of where we're at, the separation we are all feeling, and still it thrives.